Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video, and we are back on Marvel's Spider-Man 2. For those who do not know, today officially marks the 1-year anniversary since the release of this game. This game ended up coming out 1 year ago on this day. I do want to take a moment to reflect on the hype that a lot of people had for Marvel Spider-Man 2, but also reflect on the success and overall aftermath that this game endured throughout the course of the last year. First and foremost, I do want to talk about the reveal trailers that we've gotten for Marvel Spider-Man 2. I remember when the first official trailer for that game ended up dropping, a lot of people were really excited about the prospect of not only being able to play as Peter Parker, but also being able to play as Miles Morales in the same game. You were able to play as both Spider-Men too. Especially when we've had entries where you were only able to play as Peter, and then the following entry you were only able to play as Miles. So being able to get the best of both worlds from both Spider-Men was going to result in an amazing ride as playing both of them. And then toward the ending of that trailer, man, when we saw our first glimpse of Venom in Insomniac's version of Spider-Man, and that was what caused so many people, myself included, to be so excited for their take on the anti-hero. But over the course of the amount of time that we had to wait for Marvel Spider-Man 2 to launch, we ended up learning a lot more in regards to the characters that were going to make an appearance in the game, the villains we were going to encounter, but overall just the tone that we could expect from Marvel Spider-Man 2. And Insomniac pretty much implied that this game was going to be a whole lot darker than its predecessors. But despite the news, a lot of us were very excited as to how the story was going to pan out and how these characters were going to develop in the sequel. There's a spider bot. For anybody who is curious, I am currently doing a new game plus playthrough on this game. I figured, you know what, a lot of time has passed since the update dropped, but also it's been almost a year since I last played through Marvel Spider-Man 2, so I figured I'd play it once again, but this time through New Game Plus, and that's what I'm doing right now. I also want to take a moment to talk about the Traversal in this game and how it became a massive improvement over the likes of Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales. And I can honestly tell you, with the improvements that Insomniac has done to Traversal in this game, whether it be doing a loop-de-loop around various buildings or poles, whether it be the implementation of web wings, you name it, man, Insomniac really did a fantastic job of improving the traversal in this game to really give you that feeling that you're actually playing as Spider-Man. As you can see in the bottom right corner, I currently have 687 hours played on this game. I have dedicated the majority of that time free roaming around the city trying to perfect web swinging in this game, and I can confidently say that it is the most fun that I've had free roaming in a Spider-Man game. I think a lot of people might agree with me when I say that Marvel Spider-Man 2, it's one of those games where you're able to kick your feet up, you're able to just relax and just swing around the city to your heart's content, because it's a way to de-stress from whatever challenge you had to endure from the missions or the activities in this game. This game is just one of those games where you're able to just kick your feet up and just relax and enjoy yourself. And Insomniac definitely nailed that if that was their objective when improving the web swinging mechanics, well, the gameplay mechanics overall in this game. As a matter of fact, I'll show you guys some gameplay of just how fun it is to traverse in this game. it's just so much fun to do. Like, how can you deny that it's just not fun to do? Come on, man. Now, I do want to take a moment to talk about the suit selection in this game and the variety that we're able to choose from for the likes of Peter and Miles. And I can honestly say, from the choices that we've gotten this time around, I genuinely really like some of the suits. Obviously, not all of the suits that we got across Peter and Miles are perfect. Not all of them are great, but from some of them that we've gotten and what we're able to choose from, I really love what was available to us. For example, we're able to use the original advanced suit from the first Spider-Man game. We're able to free roam using both variants of the amazing Spider-Man suits. The first one being from the first movie and then the second one from the second movie. We're able to use both the red and black variants of the Spider-Man suit from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy. We got the red suit here and then we got the black suit as well. Although I do gotta point out that the red suit in this game, it did not look like this when the game launched. However, over the course of the last year, Insomniac, they did release a few updates to try to make this suit look pretty much identical to the one that we would see in the movies. And they also did the same thing with the second variant of the Amazing Spider-Man suit. You're even able to use the suit that you saw in the ending scene of Spider-Man No Way Home. You're even able to use this suit on Peter. And honestly, dude, Insomniac, they pretty much nailed it. They pretty much nailed the look and overall presentation of the suit. These suits here, you did have to purchase the digital deluxe edition in order to get a hold of them. This specific suit, along with Miles' variants, was part of the Fly and Fresh pack that you did have to spend $5 on when it first released, but eventually Insomniac, they did end up making it available for players to get for free. The reason why they ended up charging about $5, it was for a charitable cause that they wanted to donate to. And the 5 remaining suits you were able to get completely for free that Insomniac released through updates. And as far as Miles go, we ended up getting the classic suit from Spider-Man Miles Morales. We ended up getting the Bodega Cat suit, which if you recall from playing that side mission in Spider-Man Miles Morales, you did end up earning this suit through a specific side mission that you would do. Therefore, you would have a little cat in your backpack that you could free roam around as. And the best part about it is when you're in combat and you have the suit equipped, the cat does help you out in combat. As far as this suit goes, not a lot of people were a fan of this one, but for me personally, I didn't mind it. As much as I don't necessarily applaud the design all the way, at the same time, I understand why they put together a suit like this. They decided to collaborate with Adidas to put together some Spider-Man type gear for us, the players, to earn in game. We ended up getting a suit that was inspired by Black Panther. Rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman. Just like with Peter, if you ended up purchasing the digital deluxe edition for Marvel Spider-Man 2, you were able to access these 5 additional suits for Miles. This suit in particular, you did have to purchase the Fly and Fresh pack, and then the remaining 5 you were just given to for free through free updates. One of the things that Insomniac decided to incorporate in this game was web abilities. Like for example, with the symbiote, you would have anti-venom punch, you would have the anti-venom strike, and a few other ones too. And as far as for Miles go, they definitely got creative in terms of utilizing his venom power to the fullest. For me personally, I enjoyed the use of web abilities across Peter and Miles. I had a lot of fun utilizing them, whether I was using the Iron Spider mod or I was using the symbiote. I genuinely had a lot of fun using these to be able to freshen up combat. As far as the story in Marvel Spider-Man 2 goes, there were certain aspects of the story that I genuinely loved a lot, but then there were some other aspects that I wasn't necessarily a fan of, to be honest. One of the moments that I absolutely adored from the story of Marvel Spider-Man 2 was seeing the birth of Venom after he spent a whole lot of time with Peter, but also inheriting the aesthetics of his Spider-Man suit. What made it even better was you being able to play as Venom, because Insomniac, they definitely knew that we, the players, wanted to get a small little hint of what we could expect if we were to play as their version of Venom, and surprisingly they ended up delivering on that, and that's what resulted in a lot of us really having a lot of fun being able to play as the anti-hero in one of the story missions. Whether it was the aesthetics of his presentation of his suit specifically, or whether it was the gameplay itself and how Insomniac exhibited the raw and brutal nature of the anti-hero, I genuinely thought Insomniac did a fantastic job of presenting Venom in the best way that they could. While I do wish we got a whole lot more, while I do wish we got to experiment with Venom a whole lot more, at the same time, from what we got to experience, I thought was fantastic, and it only makes me wonder what else could they cook if they were to ever develop a spin-off title around Venom. There were a few other villains that were presented in the story of this game, whether it be Kraven, the Lizard, the Flame, which eventually would end up being Cletus Cassidy. Dude, I genuinely thought Insomniac did a very good job of presenting the villains the way that they did, even though in some cases they could have done a better job doing so, but they did what they could. And as far as Peter and Miles go, I honestly thought Insomniac did a pretty good job of presenting the struggles that Peter and Miles went through in their respective right. Yes, there were some issues with its pacing and how they were presented as characters overall, but also how they were able to develop throughout the story. There were some issues without a doubt, but I honestly think that with the time that they were given to be able to flesh these characters out and have them develop over time, I genuinely thought Insomniac did a pretty good job of presenting them the way that they did, because there were definitely some things about Peter and Miles that were shown in the story that really had me wondering, why the hell did they present them like this? Why did they need to do that? But even then, I didn't let it override my enjoyment of the game. I decided to just not take it so seriously and just enjoy the game for what it had to offer. I'll give you guys an example. Peter kept trying to apologize to Mary Jane for how he felt he was presenting himself when it wasn't even his fault. Because if you think about it, at some point in the story, Peter was under the influence of the symbiote, and it was causing him to act out in a way that wasn't necessarily him. But could you really blame him for acting that way? He was under the control of the symbiote. As much as he wanted to resist acting out in that way, he had no other choice because the symbiote was controlling his mental health and how he was acting up. A lot of the things that Peter was apologizing for, he didn't even need to apologize to begin with, because if you really think about it, it wasn't necessarily his fault, and I honestly thought it made him look pretty bad as a character.
Branded today.
This is for the flames. Everything burns.
Did y'all not see what I just did?
Ooh. Oh man, there's more. Okay, the turret still shot me even though I webbed it up.
You don't need this, do you?
Is that it? Okay. God damn, dude.
Keep me on my toes.
But as far as the story in Marvel Spider-Man 2 goes overall, while I honestly had a great time exploring and witnessing the events that occurred throughout the storyline, I can't necessarily say that the story in this game is a whole lot better than the story in the first game. Like, I would go as far as to say that the story in the first game is a whole lot better than the story in the second game, primarily because the villains that were introduced were a lot more fleshed out. You were able to have a much better understanding over their motives and why they did what they did, but also seeing how Peter and MJ and anybody else were able to develop in that story, I thought it was a lot more fleshed out and it was a lot more extensive than what we got to experience in Marvel Spider-Man 2. Now, I do want to turn your attention to a blog that we ended up getting from PlayStation and Insomniac very recently, and it's that they have announced that Marvel Spider-Man 2 will be arriving to PC in January of next year. Marvel Spider-Man 2 is officially coming to PC. Announced on Marvel Stage at New York Comic Con recently, our latest entry in the critically acclaimed Marvel Spider-Man franchise arrives on PC on January 30th, 2025 via Steam and the Epic Games Store, which you can go to wishlist right now. Now, whether you purchase the standard edition of the game or you purchase the digital deluxe edition, all of the post-launch content that released for Marvel Spider-Man 2 throughout the course of the last year, you will be able to experience on day one of the PC launch for this game. Now, this specific statement in this blog post, this was where so many people got so freaking mad over. While we have no additional story content planned for Marvel Spider-Man 2, we're delighted to bring all of our previously released post-launch content to the PC version, including New Game Plus, new suits and color variants, photo mode features, and more. So there you have it. We won't be getting any sort of DLC for Marvel Spider-Man 2. It's pretty much been confirmed in this blog post. Now here's the thing. I totally understand why a lot of people are up in arms over the news that we're not going to be getting any story DLC for Marvel Spider-Man 2, especially when you consider that Marvel Spider-Man ended up getting 3 story DLC packs over the course of the first year since the game launched. Not only that, but if you've played through Marvel Spider-Man 2, you will know that there were specific events that were hinted at that would make you think, okay, well, that means we're gonna get some story DLC, right? No. Unfortunately, that's not the case. But I've noticed that the disappointment regarding this news has gotten so bad that people are now going as far as to say that this game is terrible, it's not worth the $70, it's incomplete, etc. And I'm just sitting there like, what? And here's the thing, Insomniac has gone on record plenty of times whenever they were asked about any potential story DLC coming out for this game, they have specifically mentioned that they have nothing new to announce, especially when you consider that they are all hands on deck with Marvel's Wolverine. Insomniac is currently all hands on deck with developing Marvel's Wolverine to ensure that this game is giving the finishing touches to ensure that it is polished for when it releases at some point next year. You would think that because of that, a lot of fans would understand that enough to respect the fact that we're probably not going to get any additional story content for Marvel Spider-Man 2, right? Sadly, that's not the case. Hence why there was a good amount of people within the community who decided to show their true colors and once again undermine the amount of work that Insomniac put forward in regards to how they developed this game and how they presented it to us overall. For me personally, I'm not surprised that we're not getting any story DLC for Spider-Man 2. While it is a bummer, at the same time, I understand that the studio overall is currently working on Marvel's Wolverine, therefore they had to dedicate all of their time and resources to ensure that that game is ready for launch. I just think y'all need to calm down in regards to the hate that y'all are giving this studio, more specifically this game. Y'all need to relax. I understand your disappointment, but just chill out. If you guys want to check out this blog post, I'll provide a link to it down in the description for you guys to go and check out for yourselves. I do want to end this off by saying this. I was so so looking forward to being able to get my hands on Marvel Spider-Man 2 last year, especially since this game was pretty much my most anticipated game throughout the course of 2023. It was my most anticipated game of that entire year. So when I was finally able to get my hands on it at the launch date, I was so freaking excited to go all in on it and just see what Insomniac had been cooking throughout the last 4 to 5 years. And after experiencing everything that Insomniac showcased for us, the players, to experiment with, I can honestly say, from the web swinging to the combat to the story, while it does have its imperfections at times, I can confidently say that this is the most fun I have ever had playing a Spider-Man game. Insomniac knew what they had to do, and they absolutely delivered in almost every regard. I would say that this was a big improvement over its predecessors. That, ladies and gentlemen, was me reflecting on Marvel Spider-Man 2 1 year later. I do want to know from you guys as well, did you end up purchasing this game 1 year ago? And if so, what was your experience like? But also, what did you like and what did you not like about this game in particular? Whether it be from a gameplay perspective, whether it be from its features, whether it be from the story, what did you like and what did you not like about this game? But also, are you guys looking forward to the PC version of this game? And on top of that, what was your reaction when you heard the news that we were not going to be getting any additional story content for Marvel Spider-Man 2? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to know what you guys have to say. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, you're more than welcome to drop a like on it. And if you enjoy this type of content, you're more than welcome to hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. And if you happen to be watching this on my Rumble channel, you're more than welcome to do the same as clicking that follow button and that bell. Would be very much appreciated. Our series on Max Payne will resume very soon, so if you are subscribed to the channel, be on the lookout for that. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy Discreet, and I'll catch you in the next video.